Hello and welcome to the EEPROM 9, and now for another repair. This one's not so much a repair but something to assist in repair, and that is an audio cassette I can connect to a standard BNC port. So we've got some example of ones I can never use for normal BNC stuff because they are the ones which are a bastard to terminate basically. And so let's get ready. So we're going to make ourselves a cable. We've got ourselves a little headphone port and all that kind of jazz that we need so we can connect a standard headphone cable. And why am I doing this? Well, I haven't uploaded the video yet because it ended up being 2 hours long, and I ended up going on about repairing this, banging on about like loads of current political things and all that jazz, as well as the repair itself, like 1,000 different attempts at trying to do the belt on this. I even had to modify a belt in order to actually go in the thing, and the sound's a bit, it sort of varies in pitch constantly. It's like up and down oscillating. So I want to make a test tape, so we need a few little bits for that. And of course, yes, we are hooking it up to my fancy pantsy Plantronic headphones. I would not go back to the headphones that would originally gone with a tape player, because old headphones tend to be kind of shit. And in fact, I've also ordered the speaker I need to fix these Plantronic headphones, so then I'll have two lots of really nice high quality headphones that work rather than just one, because I broke these in a tantrum. This is why anger tantrums are a bad thing, because you end up breaking things which are expensive. And these are nice headphones, even though they have a few annoying quirks. But hey, they're more due to the Bluetooth than anything. But yeah, I like the Bluetooth like noise cancelling headphones. They're perfect when you're on the autistic spectrum, because you can reduce the volume of all the horrible, horrific noises, especially useful with things like sirens and that, which are just horrific ear rape. But anyway, enough rambling, because I can ramble on for, as it turns out, 2 hours. And yeah, so I'll hopefully have that up by the weekend, providing something doesn't get in the way. Which with my lifestyle can literally be anything at a whim. So we need a suitable cable to use for the testing. So we go for our cable bag, which we have many cables, even cables ripped from Christmas lights in here, because why the hell not? And I might have just found the perfect cable, hooked up to an old microphone pulled off of something in the past, but what? So long ago. Let's continue having a look and seeing if we can find something that would supersede this a bit better. Oh, hello. It's longer. It's only got 2 conductors. I think it's actually a television aerial one. This is perfect. Television aerial pulled off another broken BNC cable. Don't remember which. Ooh, Mr. Naughty fell out the bag there. So that's our cable acquired. So we've basically got all the materials we need for this, and then we can tune our thing to 1 kilohertz, our frequency thing, and we measure it with the same frequency counter, which is a Nixie Tube one. I don't have a camera hooked up to him to show you, or otherwise I would, but I don't, and I don't actually think I have another webcam I could hook up, because I took it apart because it was shit. So remember, you always need the proper tools, so make sure you got the proper tools. We've got our tape we're going to use. Oh, look, a wire fell out the bag. We got the tape we're going to use as our sacrificial tape, which is some kids apparently it's Dolby noise cancellation on it. We won't be needing that for this test. A bunch of kids songs basically, which are of no interest to me. I'm not into that kind of music, and so on. And yeah, so we'll move that out the way for now. We'll move the nail varnish out the way so we can paint our little claws later. We got hair bleach, which is used for the retro brighting. So we managed to get hold of this. This stuff has gone up in price. It only used to be £1 each per bottle, which is a lot of money for 75 millilitres of what is essentially white goo that is very corrosive on your hands. So gloves recommended. Here's the remains of the belt we burned in that tape drive fixing video and all that good jazz. So we will start by selecting an appropriate end for our things. We've got 3 to choose from here. One of these has a resistor in, or had a resistor. I'm probably going to pick... Come off, you. One of these. Yes. So, what we can do here is... Are we going to use the old clamping system? Nah, it's a bit of a pain in the arse. We're going to use solder, and we just lost our connector. Gravity tried to eat him. Bad gravity. Bad, naughty, terrible gravity. So which one shall we use? Because they kind of got all the same horrific connector on the end. I'm thinking we should use... I guess it's down to the... one of my multimeters has gone walking. Here he is. He's down here on the floor. How he got down there, who the hell knows? That'll be one of the great... Yep, I'm still using my Fluke 25-minute multimeter. I've had it since uni. Did you know I graduated from my master's 6 years ago now? I'm getting old. Please kill me. Oh, he has a resistor or something in there. So he's no good. Because he has a resistor or something blocking it, which is not what we're after. We need it to be a clear path through. We've eliminated him from the party because of the horrible connector on the end, which leaves us with the one I pulled off an old scope probe I pulled apart. And he connects straight through on the centre. I'll give you a view of that. And also on the negative. Maybe if I do this enough and it's popular enough, I might actually upgrade you to a phone camera or something on an actual tripod. Because my current system for mounting the camera is very ghetto at the moment. It's literally just my rolls of wire are sitting on top of the camera. The whole camera's rubber mounts to hold it down. It's like the most ghetto solution you could get. So now we've got to get him over this, which is going to be a fun challenge. You know what we'll do? We will trim the end off so it's a bit bigger. And then we don't have to worry about trying what rolled on the floor. Ah, good thing that did roll on the floor. Because he needs to go back in the little weed bag and back with the other connectors. I love having a full workshop. Oh, I forgot to put him back as well. I'll deal with that later today. He can stay on there for a few months for the time being. So what we are going to do is we're going to grab some wire cutters that aren't shit. Walk into the IBM 5150, who was casually sitting there waiting for me to walk into it. I went shopping in Aldi and saw this, and well, there was no resisting the temptation to buy. But the nice thing is it's doubled as a wire cutter. And look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Cuts off that old mangy end. Now let's test out this. Ha! Ah, I see. And then what you do to get a bit more pressure. Oh, that's quite neat. Alright, we'll just give him a bit more purchase room. That's about right. Oh, that's beautiful. I like this wire stripper already. Apparently it's for crimping, but if that's your crimping solution, that's absolutely terrible. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this how it's meant to be done and shove this pin in. But one thing we should do that we haven't done yet, and this should be the first rule of debugging, is continuity test the cable. Because occasionally I do accidentally keep the odd dead cable. So the shielding's fine, and the middle bit, the middle conductor, oh, that was just a bad connection on my end. It's fine, awesome. So that cable is not buggered. Yeah, that mistake's an annoying mistake to make. This tape was actually gifted to me by one of my work colleagues when I first got my Amstrad CPC 464. Because I very much use tapes for all my vintage computers and stuff, and now apparently music, because, well, it's a lot easier than dealing with those media players, which are an absolute pain. Getting the media players to accept the music as you want it is a challenge in itself, and not a challenge that is fun. Oh god, what the? There's like a section inside this thing that's already way too thick. Looks like we need to just trim him a little more. There we go. Hopefully that's enough. Yeah, that's better. Still a bit tight, but it's good enough to do the job, so that's good. So now what we do is we spread this out. Now, yeah, when we're talking about spreading stuff out, we can come out with all the dirty jokes in the world that are utterly hilarious. And some boring tosser would tell me off for, because that's not appropriate. But hey, the whole point of the joke, you know, the whole thing that makes it funny is the whole lack of appropriacy. And the fact I never understood the bullshit societal appropriate nonsense as it is. Good. I learnt to do this when I was doing my CCTV on my house. Because I was wiring, you guessed it, BNC cables. Right, let's just check that has connected. Always check every stage of your work and you save yourself from a world of pain. If you only check it all at the end, you will come across a problem that is a nightmare to debug. Woo! And look at that, beautiful. It's the case when you're coding, check every single line. Even create variables just for checking those lines, you know. Verbose that output. Maybe I should put that on a t-shirt. Verbose that output. Right, this is where we're going to find this connector doesn't take solder or some nonsense like that, which will completely screw with my plan, but we'll go on the assumption it'll take solder, and we'll go from there. And yeah. Yeah, he takes solder. Oh yeah, he takes solder alright, quite nicely actually. I'm sure I'm going to burn my fingers very soon. Technically I should probably be wearing goggles for this because you do get the... Oh, I've just discovered a bit of a major flaw in the plan. The internal cable just melted. Oh dear. Right, let's check the continuity. We might be able to still get away with that. We might. But we know about that. That's the important thing. So first off, good, he's connected. Now let's do the middle pin. Oh Jesus, it's ruined the connector. Oops. Oh, hang on, no. Does the connector still connect? So we'll just grab one of these that we have that we can pop him in. Ow. We're going to need some pliers to do this because he's still burny fingers hot. And he does still connect, so we can get away with this by the looks of it. So that's good. So now, because we stopped in time now, will this go on? This is where the real fun begins. There we go. Beautiful. Look at that. You wouldn't realise I'd ruined it, would you? Yeah. Yeah. He's breaking these now. So yeah, that's a fail. That is an absolute and utter fail. So, rules to self. Careful if you try to solder these, because you can bugger it up where you have to cut the connector off and start again. So he's destined for the pin, so that's fine. So yeah, we got the continuity in that, right? And this is part of what I want to show on the series, is like the screw-ups, things like that. Now luckily, because of the CCTV project, I brought a whole load of BNC connectors. So I screwed one up, it's not a biggie, we don't have to worry about it. We can bin that one and we have a new victim. And we don't have to do soldering this time. Ooh, fancy. Oh, actually I will keep him on. Let's actually put him... I only need to hear him beep so he can stay over there. Oh god. Oh god, why have you stopped beeping? Probably hit one of the hold buttons or something. So we use our super duper fancy thing. Right. So yeah, that's about what we want. Super duper fancy thing. Wire stripper. This is actually from Aldi, so it's not as super duper fancy as you'd think. I actually want a bit more than that off, actually, and I'm also going to tighten this a tad, not that much. That's probably a bit too tight. So now, yeah, that was a bit too tight that time, so we'll reduce the tightness on him. I haven't used this before, so it's fair enough. I'm going to make a few mistakes. So we wrap this round this end. Standard stuff. Then we do that. Look at that, beautiful. See, you don't always need a fancy, expensive cable trimmery thing. We actually need a little more off, actually, on that, so... Get all that off the centre conductor. Luckily this cable was made before the days of the whole aluminium wire nonsense. Although saying that, apparently in the UK aluminium wire was used in the households in like the 60s or 70s or 50s or something, which is... Oh god, why the hell was that a thing? Aluminium wire is terrible. There's literally not a positive thing to say about it. It's also a massive fire hazard because, well, because it has a high resistance, and well, resistance, surprise, surprise, creates heat. Oh, shall we use our crimp section? So we give it the yellow one's the big one, I think. So that would be here. Yeah, that works. Right, let's do the classic test with the multimeter, the fluke. I could actually go out and buy a brand new fluke, but you know why? When I can get a second-hand one on eBay for 30 quid that's ModStar Plus. Like, why would I spend like 300 odd quid? And anyway, I want to put that money towards a 3D printer, which I still need to order. I still need to find one that's in stock because as I'm discovering much to my dismay, 3D printers are turning out to not exactly be in the greatest in stock limits at the moment. Everyone's buying them up for some reason. Maybe bored projects at home. Or the whole thing, printing parts for face masks for hospitals and that kind of jazz. But really, if you want to protect yourself from COVID, the kind of PPE you need is actually the kind of stuff I'm obsessed with. Stir plus gas masks. I know, I have so many weird obsessions, don't I? Do I have heat shrink that will fit over that? Yes, I do. This is good. He will be a canary yellow heat shrink. And we've already got him nicely split out. So we want some other heat shrink to go over him if I have some that's thick enough, which I don't. I've run out. My heat shrink supplies are getting a little low. I'll need to order them online, unfortunately. Which means a trip to eBay is required again. I spend too much money on eBay. I can tell you that straight off. So we're going to try and avoid needing heat shrink for that because we don't have any. So the next stage is to find out what the pinout of this is. So we will borrow our cable from our headphones, our fancy Plantronics cable that came with them. Unfortunately, I lost the cable that came with my other one. I don't know if this is a mono or stereo connector. I'm hoping it's mono. But I don't know. This is where we find out. This is also where we find out the pinout. So, no. So here's the ground. None else are connected to the ground. The middle one is connected to there, but not there. So this is actually a stereo jack. So yeah, it's these two I want to link together because they're the two audio channels. To make something that's mono. How is a mono cable wired? You know, I don't know. How is a mono cable wired? Because I probably want to wire it like a mono cable. Bear with me and let me find the one that's with my ZX81. Hang on. I've got to find it. I think it's in the Electron bag. Hello. Hello there, Electron. Thank you for almost falling and killing yourself. Oh, this smells nice and 80s, this bag. Nope, he's not in there. Oh, good. I get to find the not fun. Let's find this random item I've lost again. Yay. I could just Google it. Yeah, let's Google what a mono cable looks like, because I don't bloody know. I don't know off the top of my head. Ow. Google, Google, Google. You get to see the process of how I do things and how completely ADHD it is. No. Okay. 1.5 millimeter. What do you look like? What parts are negative? What parts are positive? Ah, interesting. So it turns out one of the channels is actually mounted to the negative, which is the exact opposite way of how I'd design it. So the bottom jack here is wired into the negative. That is bizarre. I wonder why they decided to make the stand like that, because I'd make it where both of them are that. So when you plug in a stereo headphones, you get audio through both. But if that's how it's wired, that's how this needs to be wired, because we are going to be using standard audio equipment for that, my Tandy tape drive. So he can go down here. Oh, that might mean we'd be able... Yeah, so... Okay. So we need to rethink this. So the one we need to link to the... negative. Now some people would remember the order these sit in, but we're talking about me here. I don't remember shit. So this one I think was the negative, yes. And then one of these, this one. So these two need to be linked together, and then this one is our positive. Okay, I think I know what to do here. So the two at the bottom link together. I'm going to verify that. I'm going to leave the connector in there so I don't melt anything. I hope I don't melt my cable, because it turns out you can't buy these separately. Grrr, because I want to buy the one I lost for my old Plantronics headphones, because it had all the inline volume controls and stuff, as well as microphone through. So you could use it as a PC headset. But I can't because I lost the cable. Urgh. My own incompetence is my downfall. I know. Tell me about it. Tell me something I don't know. Okay, so that's how we want to do it. Okay, now. So then we need that cut there. So I only need that. So this is going to be an absolute pig of a job to nibble off, especially as all my all these, despite looking after them, have still got notched. So the cable gods have not been kind to me. They're just like, oh, he looked after his cheap ass pliers from Maplin's that you can't buy anymore because Maplin's closed. So you have to wait for them to come in the post, which is one of your pet peeves. You know, Maplings was never particularly cheap, but you know, they fulfilled a purpose. You know, if I wanted something from there, I could just go and buy it. Now, if I want something, I have no choice but to go the postage route and wait a billion years for it to arrive. Which makes me sad. Okay, good. So now we need to trim this off with our magical new wire cutters, which are actually really good. And then, yeah, that's about right. With our magical new, not expensive Aldi wire trimmy thingies. Crimpy. I actually do have two proper crimp tool floating around somewhere. I think he's in my main toolbox actually. I say my main toolbox, but for the big boys, adults toys, not so much the dainty tools. I have a separate toolbox for the non-dainty tools that aren't used for precision work. Make sure he's got lead solder on, because lead solder is apparently the best if you talk to all the engineers. I personally can work with both leaded and lead-free solder, so I don't really care if I'm using leaded or lead-free. I brought leaded this time to try it out, and you know what? It is very nice to work with. It doesn't do a lot of the annoying stuff that leaded does. But would I say it's completely superior to unleaded? Nah, it's alright. You know, it's like anything. All depends on how you use it. All depends on how you use it. Ah, hang on. Simon was about to do a dir. Simon's good at doing dirs. Simon constantly suffers from imposter syndrome, mostly for being a complete klutz all the time. One has successfully soldered up, two hasn't. There we go. Yeah, oh, you bum nugget. There we go. The cable has of course melted, which probably means it's decided to short. Has it decided to short, or have the cable gods decided to be merciful on us this time? Looks like it's decided to be merciful. Now this one won't work at the moment because he's not hooked up. That looks, yeah, that's done that, that's good. So should we mount my Plantronics headphone cables now? Although that's just a standard one rather than a nice inline socket one. Boom! It works! So we now have our 1 kilohertz signal. That we can now pump into that. So we want to pop him off. I know what we can do. We can pop him over like this, and then we can trim a hole right where the headphone thing goes in. So yeah, we'll do that. Because we're going to see exactly where he goes. Okay, we've got that much that side, that much that side. And time for the blowtorch. Which is also incidentally how I melted the belt cable, belt thing that was misbehaving and being evil. Now we need a super duper sharp knife, and this is where we use Swiss Army knife that I've blunted from abusing too much and using on things that shouldn't. Yeah, it doesn't look the same without his two plastic sides, does he? But it wouldn't be the EEPROM 9 if I didn't chew everything and destroy it. Luckily I don't chew circuit boards. Or unluckily, depending on whether you absolutely hate my guts, and there certainly are the trolley types that do, and I just laugh at them because they're funny. When they, to be fair, I don't really have a trolling problem. It's just the occasional kind of, the occasional arsehole comes along. The funniest one was that guy with the terrorist photo, but he changed it to something not so awesome. So he's now officially a sellout as far as I'm concerned, not having that terrorist terrifying a child. Boom! We have finished our cable. We can now make a 1 kHz sine wave. But first, we need to make this tape recordable. How would you do that, I hear you ask? Well, with some tape, of course. The old-fashioned way, the way we used to do it when we were lads. When you've grown up with cassette tapes all your life, you kind of know how they work. Whereas the young kids these days, well, I don't know what the young kids these days are into. Probably the same asinine bullshit I was into back then. Oh, poo. Pull and double pull. What stupid shit is our Chinese overlord Winnie the Pooh up to these days? Remember to call the Chinese leader Winnie the Pooh. Turns out that really offends him. So, yeah, that's a good thing. He is officially Winnie the Pooh. The only thing is, he's not wholesome like the bear from the cartoon. Because Winnie the Pooh, the character from the cartoon, is kind of absolutely, completely and utterly wholesome. And just like one of the kindest characters, which is kind of, sort of, probably what part of makes it kind of such an amusing insult to him. Right, okay, that's that. Are you rewound? Not fully. So we'll let that rewind, and we shall look up. So we don't want a 3 kHz signal. We want a the dial on this thing's surprisingly accurate. You wouldn't think it. Perfect. Bang on. We've got a bang on 1 kHz signal. Okay, good. That sounds like Disney. Okay, so yeah, I don't think you need to stay for the rest of this because we've done the job of making the cable. It's tested and working, and I'm going to basically go and carry on. And we did that in... Did that really take 40 minutes to make a cable? Actually took less time to repair the bloody tape drive and that calculator. Probably because we're more focused. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And I can bang this up without editing because it's not horrifically long and it's to the point.